Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a 1 versus 1 tournament which took place on, I think, the South American server, and you're looking at my Sakurajima in the Cromwell, which is the tier 6 British medium, and he's up against another enemy tank which is a KV2. It's 1 versus 1, so who will survive and who will win? Game on! Well, you can see Maya's actually got 3 marks on the barrel of his Cromwell, which is a reasonably fast tank, 64 kilometers an hour maximum speed, whilst the KV2, his maximum speed is only 35 kilometers an hour. Maya's gone to the north end of the railway line junction, hoping that he might spot the enemy in the distance. You can see his view range. He's got quite a good view range, 360 metres, whereas the KV2 only got 330. So it's a 30 metre difference. But of course, actually, it all depends on the crew skills as well. If you've got very good crew skills, you could still outspot the enemy. Now, it is an encounter game, 1 versus 1. And Mai sent us 4 rounds that he played, all on the Ensk map, all featuring the Cromwell. Now remember, the KV2 has got the M10 howitzer as its main armament, which is capable of doing 910 alpha with an HE round if it can penetrate the armour, which is 86 millimeters of armour. So it can do a lot of penetration, and well, the armour on the Cromwell is fairly weak. It's only 63.5 on the hull at the front, 42.9 on the sides and 31.8 on the rear, so it's fairly weak. The turret, 76.2mm at the front, 63.5 on the sides and 57 on the rear. So just about anywhere on the Cromwell, the KV2 should be able to pen him. The only advantage that mine might have is his speed, and the fact that he can quickly get off a round and potentially disappear before the KV2 can traverse his turret to hit the target. We know where the KV2 is now. He is in the cap circle. Now he's probably lined up and ready and waiting, and the moment mine gets too close, he might proximity spot him. He's just around the corner. Well, he managed to scoop past, but he didn't get a shot. And you see he's not traversing his turret. Mai is putting rounds into him. He just can't turn fast enough. He's trying to turn the body of the tank as well as the turret. And every time he tries to turn one way, he's got to fire. The Mai just moves away, and he's still facing away. There's the kill shot, and he's won the first round. Guns up, he's happy. Let's have a look at the end of battle stats for this one. Well, in round 1 of the battle, we can see that Mai Sakurajima managed to win against the KV2, and he managed to get a win 8 for this game of 2,183. The poor guy really didn't stand a chance. Mai managed to get 960 hit points of damage, 1 kill, and 649 base XP. Poor KV2 only got 18 hit points. I think that was from RAM damage actually more than anything, and 27 XP out of this game. So that's the first round, and you can see that because he was using premium ammo, he actually ended up with loss. Plus, of course, he had the premium consumables. That did actually affect him. So yes, he got a victory and he got some XP. So I suppose you could say he's losing credits, but he's also gaining XP on the vehicle. Let's have a look at round 2. The second round of this 1 versus 1 tournament is on the south spawn of Ensk, and this time he's up against the VK3601H, which is a German tier 6 heavy tank. Game on! Now the gun he's armed with is 75mm, capable of 135 alpha, and he spots the 3601 and gets a round into him, a high roll for 147. His penetration on this gun is 145, and it's got a reasonable reload, although yes, you don't drive into buildings. The spot reload is 3.74. Mai's managed to get it down to 2.84. Of course, he does have 3 marks on his vehicle, which means he's probably played it more than a few times. But it's a tactical game, this one, and it's, well, one tank against another. And of course, if the enemy can bring in things like heavies or a fast medium, he might be able to stand a chance against a medium tank like this if he's got enough hit points to survive the onslaught. Now, the VK3601H, it actually has a 88mm gun, which is capable of 220 alpha, and it's got a reload of 6.62 seconds. His view range is 370, which means he's got more view range than the Cromwell does. And at the moment, Mai is playing it very, very quietly. He's not going in to hunt the VK down. He's actually trying to tempt the VK to cap. But it could be that the VK has decided instead of capping, he's going to hunt. And that's a distinct possibility. So Mai is playing it very cagey at the moment. Now that VK might have turned around and actually gone back down the railway line. He could now be behind Mai on this side of the map. So Mai is taking a risk going out hunting. I think he's decided he's going to play it cagey and hide and wait for the enemy to make a mistake. Now, seeing as this VK3601H can only do 220, he could take several hits before it gets critical. Whereas the KV2 in the previous battle, he only had to hit Mai once and get a pen, and that would be the end of his game. You literally one-shot him out of the game. Oh, and he's found the VK, and the VK was doing the same as him. And he does take a round in the tracks. He's going to get time for another round before he has to disappear. And he's trying to use his speed to get around the guy and his DPM. Well, he has got a better DPM than the VK, and he did manage to get one round in. Of course, the problem with the VK is traversing that turret. And he is getting these rounds in, but he is firing premium ammo to do it. He will take this guy down. He has taken some damage. This is a kill shot. Oh, yes! And that's the second round. It's another victory. Here's the results of the next battle, second round, and yes, he's got another victory, and his win rate is higher in this one, 2,850, and I think the reason for that really was down to the fact that he had to go out and find the guy, and he had to put 11 shots into him in order to get the kill. He did actually bounce around that came from the VK3601H as well during that encounter. So let's have a look at the team scores and see how much. Well, 1,320 hit points, which of course is the alpha of this vehicle. And the next, in fact, actually, it's not the alpha of the vehicle, because the real alpha of the vehicle is, or the real value of the vehicle is 1,200. So that guy was probably using the one of those equipment slots for the extra hardening, which increases your hit points or your vehicle hit points by a substantial amount. Yes, he only got the 1 kill and 804 XP. I'm afraid the VK only managed to do 681 hit points of damage to Mai. He's got 840 in his hit point pool, so you can see he got close to taking out Mai, but he didn't get there. But at least he got more XP with 168 than the KV2 managed. So let's have a look at detail, and yes, again, he makes a loss because he was firing premium ammo, spamming it at the enemy to get the kill. He did get more XP overall from this battle, but again, it's another victory in the tournament. So let's have a look at round 3. And here's the next round, round number 3 in the 1 vs 1 South American Open, the round robin. All tier 6 vehicles going up against each other, and this time round he's up against the T-3485M, which is a premium Soviet medium. Now the enemy does have an 85mm, which means he's got a hit point advantage in this game because he can do 180 alpha, whereas you can see that Mai only can do 135 alpha on this 75mm gun. Now the penetration on the enemy tank is 144, against mine's 145. So they're about the same pen, but mine has a disadvantage this time round when it comes to the amount of damage you can do. The only advantage he's got is the reload time, because the standard reload for the 85mm gun is 4.99 seconds. So unless he's got a good crew, that T-3485 is only going to get one shot off maybe every 3.5 seconds, whereas mine should be able to get his off for just under 3 seconds. Again, he's doing what he did before. He's going defensive, waiting for the enemy to appear. So even if mine does get a good shot on the enemy, if he spots him, he's only going to be able to do 135 per 135 per shot, because the other guy has got a 50-point advantage. Well, not 50 point, it's actually 45 hit point advantage per shot, but there's a slight difference in the rate of fire. Now the DPM on both vehicles is, funnily enough, identical. 2,166 hit points per minute for both vehicles. So even though there's a difference between the value of the fire rate, and the other guy's proximity spotted, he's behind him. Looks like he's going to come around this corner. They're both trying to side scrape against each other. You can't stand off forever. He's taken around in the tracks, but he's now got the advantage because he managed to get one round in, and now he's seizing that advantage. The other guy is firing HE, trying to get pens to get the damage, but it's not working very well because he's only got 83 left, and there's the kill shot that wins the third round, and it's all mice. He took on a tank with equal capacity, but he outfoxed him and got his shots to count. Let's have a look at the battle results for the third round. Slightly less on the win rate this time, 1,735, but he did pick up the kill. He got one critical hit, 5 shots on the enemy this time. It's 6 shots in total, 6, and took the guy out of the game. He gets 810 hit points, so is that the correct yes, it is the correct XP for the vehicle, or the correct hit points for the vehicle. 1 kill and 531 XP for doing the game. The T-3485 only managed to get 276 hit points against mine, so he only got 2 shots in, and he was firing HE. I think he thought that if he fired the HE rounds, he would actually get more damage, but in this occasion, it didn't work out well for him. He only got 86 XP for taking part. And if we look at details, yes, he was spamming the gold again to get the win, and 796 XP overall. So he's made another loss, but who cares? He's through to the 4th round, and we'll watch that one now. And here's round 4 of the contest, and this time round he's up against the VK3601H, and it's Tommy Chong who's driving it. Game on! Okay, well, he's going to do the same as before. Probably drive to the spot where he can get a sniping shot on the VK, and yep, he's gone to the same spot. Dialing in, waiting to see if the guy will come across the railway tracks. No. There's a possibility the guy is in the field, because they still spawn on the same spots. You can see the spawn points marked on the map, and since he didn't cross the railway line, he could be still in the field moving south. Now the VK3601H, as you saw before, has 1200 hit points health, whereas mine only has 840 in the Cromwell, but he does have a DPM advantage, whereas the VK3601H has the 88mm gun and is capable of 1,995 hit points per minute. Mine can do 2,166, so he can outshoot somebody in a brawl. But of course he doesn't have the hit points that the other guy has, so he's going to have to shoot faster and get more damage in. He's found him. He gets one round in, but he doesn't hit, and there's the first round that hits, and unfortunately he's already lost one amount, so he's using his speed to outmaneuver the enemy and stay alongside him, pumping rounds in whilst the guy's trying to turn his turret towards mine, but mine won't let him. He's going to win this by outmaneuvering the enemy and getting the hits that count. He's backed himself up against the wall so he can turn the turret, but it's too late. And that's the victory. He's killed the VK and he's got the win. So round 4 complete for Mai. Let's have a look at the end of battle results. And here's the battle results for Mai in round 4. And he managed to get 2,806 win 8 in this one. He did suffer one big hit from that VK right at the start, and there was a moment of panic when one of his rounds actually bounced off the VK's armour, which meant obviously that he was at a disadvantage straight away. But of course he put his manoeuvrability to effect and outmanoeuvred the enemy. Couldn't get his turret to turn around fast enough to match Mai, and Mai just kept dancing around him until he got all the hits he needed. There we go. We see that he managed to get 3 critical hits in that game. He took out the engine track and driver. He got 10 hits inside the enemy and got the kill. Let's have a look at the team scores. 1,300 hit points of damage. Well, the actual standard hit points for the VK is 1,200. So again, looks like he's using the hardened vehicle, the hardening on the vehicle, which enables to increase his hit points for the battle. Mai, well, he only suffered that one big hit right at the start from the 88mm, 232 hit points, but after that the guy just couldn't get his gun to bear, and that's why he got taken out. And he only got 71 hit points for turning up. Let's have a look at detail again. Well, there you go. 11 shots fired. Only one missed the target, or rather didn't pen. 10 others penned the target, and he managed to get the kill out of it. He did lose credits because, I guess, again, in the tournament, people tend to spam gold like it's going out of fashion. And he did pick up 1,177 XP, which I suppose it's what you're playing these tournaments for. Not only the bragging rights of actually getting the round through to the next round, but also the fact that you can get XP out of it as well, which improves your performance. But it's quite interesting to play one tier 6 vehicle against another and see if you can find an enemy, an opponent, who's actually just as versatile as yourself. You just have to remember, you've got to pick a vehicle which is easily able to outmaneuver the enemy, because if you come up against a tank like the Cromwell, which is reasonably fast, good at traversing, then any opponent like Mai Sakurajima, he's going to take you out of the game because he will outshoot you and outdance you in the process. So very well played by Mai Sakurajima. This is the end of round 4. It's the end of the video, but I suppose that Mai will probably be sending us more videos on this 1 versus 1 tier 6 tournament in the future. At least I hope he does. Even if he loses, it would be nice to see how somebody managed to take him down if he's this good with the Cromwell. I hope you enjoyed this replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.